Otunba Dayo Adeneye. Welcome to the SNC Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So a few weeks ago, you were in Los Angeles to attend the Grammys. That would have been your what number of times?
I believe that would be our 20th year.
Wow.
The Grammys.
Wow.
Yes.
Why is it important to you that you need to attend the Grammys?
Well, for one, we used to live in Los Angeles, but then when we lived there, I never really thought about it. It was just one of those programs you watch on TV. But having moved back to Nigeria, having read mass communication, and having seen the impact that the Grammys has on artists, on producers, or people in the industry, the corresponding effect, if you happen to win a Grammy, the multiplier effect, it's tremendous. I mean, from an unknown artist, if you win a Grammy, whether you're a producer or a singer or songwriter, I mean, the sky becomes your limit, and you can go places. So the Grammys are, it's like the World Cup of football. It's the biggest musical event on planet Earth. So if you're a player in music anywhere in the world, you do aspire to be at the Grammys, to win a Grammy, to partake in the Grammys.
But what do you think about it's not a recent trend, but what about conversations that are happening now that people think that why should people be aspiring to go to the Grammys, even though they believe that the Grammys isn't going to make any impact in your career and that you can be successful regardless of having a Grammy?
Well, we've always preached that if you're nominated for Grammy, all well and good. It's great for your career. It's great for to boost your self-confidence and maybe image. You can put on that on your CV. But if you don't win it, it shouldn't be the be-it-all and the end-all of it. I mean, King Sunny Ade has been nominated several times. You won't hear him, quote-unquote, complaining or whining about it. He moves on about his life. Femi Kuti. But then again, you've had numerous other Nigerians that have won Grammys. We have over 10 Nigerians that you've probably never heard of that have won that have won the Grammys in various categories, songwriters, producers, whatever, behind the scenes. So we always tell our artists, look, it's good to aspire for it because it is the most recognized musical event in the world, but it should not be the benchmark of your career. Look, there are over 200 million people in Nigeria. Have you sold to 10% of those people? Not to talk of the continent of Africa. Have you reached out to all those people? Have you won all those your fans in Africa? And then talk about the black world in diaspora. Have you? So the Grammys is, yes, you should aspire for it, but look at Bob Marley. Reggae is played all over the world, but they don't complain about whether they win the Grammys or not.
Why do you think that a lot of Nigerian artists sidestep that process that you just mentioned, as opposed to starting with Nigeria, Africa, other countries before you start saying, oh, I want to win a Grammy?
I have mixed feelings about that. Like I said, I won't put the Grammys down. It's the biggest musical event, but I see it from a different perspective. I see it as a content provider. It's great content for my platform. It's great exposure for our artists. We went along with some of our artists, Two-Face, J1, Late Goldie, just to expose them to see what obtains out there, the level of performance, the level of excellence that you need to attain to be a global player. Not just for them to aspire to Grammy, but to aspire to that level of perfection and that level of excellence. But I don't push my artists to say, oh, you must win a Grammy. No, because the Grammys are not made for Africans. They are not made for African musicians. They are made for Americans whose songs are played on American radio and whose videos are played on American TV. So the more we understand that, and we put that not just in the back of our heads, we let everybody know that that's what the Grammys is about. Are you with me? So I think it's just a bit of misconstrued or some misunderstanding that artists also always think, or the general populace thinks, if you don't win the Grammy, you're a nobody. No, that's not it.
When you look at foreign investment companies and foreign individuals who are venture capitalists, you have the likes of the Saudi Arabian government, you have SoftBank, you have Peter Thiel, you have Chris Saka. I look at it when it applies to technology and how having foreign investment helps technology companies achieve scale. I always look at it from that perspective. And that just got me thinking about the Nigerian music industry. And I posed this question to Chief Miracle when I interviewed him, but I don't think I phrased it quite properly. Now my question was, or the question I wanted to ask him, and I'm asking you, is do you think local investment is not enough for the Nigerian music industry to achieve scale and growth the way that we would like it to be, thus requiring foreign investment to actually play its role?
It's a two-edged sword, if you ask me. When you talk about investment in technology, the foreign investors that do so, they do so to what? To expand their reach.
Sure.
They're not doing it just to help your country.
Of course.
I mean, Mark Zuckerberg that came here didn't do it just because he wanted to see our link bridge. He wanted to expand his reach. Now, when you talk about the music industry, why would a foreign investor want to come and invest in Nigerian music? Is it because he wants to sell records in Nigeria? There must be a reason. But I sincerely think there's enough. There's enough to invest. And you can see it every day. But has there been a reciprocal return for the local investors? And I say no. I, for one, can tell you that as an investor, somebody who invested heavily, my money, blood, sweat, and tears, I didn't get the reciprocal. But then again, I didn't do it to get the monetary returns. I did it because I felt, wait a minute, this is what obtains where I'm coming from, which was America at the time. And I felt, wait a minute, if we implement just 50% of what we learned there in Nigeria, we can raise, and I dare say we did. When we came back to Nigeria, you could hardly hear one or two Nigerian songs on radio. But if you turn to any radio station now, you can go to any party. If it's a 24-hour party, they will play Nigerian songs for 23 hours. You won't hear any Tupac Shakur or Notorious B.I.G. And I'm very proud to say I was part of the kickstart of that process. So I think there's enough here locally that people are ready to invest. But the ones that have done it, like Kenny's Music, like Empire Mates, you see what the artists do, and it discourages you. When you take, a young talent, you take him to the studio, you invest money in production, you do a video, you change his clothing, his wardrobe, and you change his car, change his life. And after a few months, he blows and he starts to think, well, I don't need the record company. I'm a star now, it's my money. And then after 2 years, he says, I'm leaving the record company, they are cheating me. You've forgotten that you were nobody before you could. And we see it being repeated time and time again, from not just Kenny's to Empire, everybody. So it's something that needs to be addressed, and that's why you don't see more people investing in that.
When it comes to record labels signing artists, why don't they have the artist, make it a requirement that the artist must have his or her lawyer there, so that in some way invalidates the claim that I signed this contract under duress, or I did not know what I was signing? Why do some labels do it hush-hush and they say, oh, sign, our lawyer is here?
I'm not aware of other labels practices.
No, I'm just.
But I can tell you, when prime time came to manage artists, everything was public. You bring your lawyer, you read the documents are given to you. Nobody says you must sign, nobody holds a gun to your head. As a matter of fact, we had a long queue. We were not even willing to sign that itself. Most came begging and pleading and prostrating, and I'm being honest, I'm not trying to show off. Most came begging that, please, I will do anything. They even take 60% of my, no, we don't need that. The normal standard 20-30% is okay. But at the end of the day, most of them don't fulfill their ends of the bargain. As you know how the world has turned, people don't buy CDs anymore. So the income now comes from shows, from performances. And that's why even abroad, you will have the record companies will sign what they call a 360 contract. Yeah. So every money you make, whether it's endorsement, we share it, because I am the one, I have to invest in you. So how am I going to, in case the record doesn't sell? That's why you will see some artists on their second, third album, they're still living in the ghetto. Because the money the record label has invested must be recouped. Whether your song is blowing or not, if I've spent $2 million to get you to that level, I must make that $2 million first before you start to, all the limousine rides as a lot, So, but is this our client? They say, but when you blow go now, how come? I have friends that in America that they are on their third album. Look, I go and ask Boys to Men. By the time they did their third album, they were still living in the project. New edition. The story is, so if the record label invests, they must recoup their money before you see a dime. All the flights, the concerts, everything.
From somewhere.
But in our climate, it's not understood that way. People just think, but only a blog on now, so how come?
But why do we seem to understand that outside the country? But Nigeria, it seems like we just like jaga in this country.
Because we don't tell the story properly. We don't tell the story correctly, and that's why we need good journalists that will go out and tell both sides of the story. But when you look now, before these people signed you, you were living in this one room in Bariga now. But after they moved you to so, you were living. It wasn't. It's like somebody that goes for a job interview, and after 3 months, they moved you to a new apartment. They gave you, and then after 6 months, you say you want to resign. You have to return all those company properties. You can't keep the company car. You can't continue to live in. The company will not continue to pay for the house. You're no longer.
Now, just to go back to the foreign investment companies and individuals. Part of the reason why I asked that question is, do you think that if we had more stories out there by investigative journalists, knowing that there are local investors actually putting money into the Nigerian music industry, that would help not necessarily diminish, but quell the narrative that it's fraud money and drug money that is fueling, the success in the Nigerian music industry? Do you think that would help? Because, you always hear stories that the Nigerian music industry is only being sustained by 419.
I disagree totally.
Okay.
From my interactions when I was heavily into, and I'm still into look, you see, people don't understand the amount of money that can be made in entertainment. And I say this because we had friends that would come and ask us, any boys, shall I for me now? How? Because they just couldn't understand that, you just are riding a Hummer, you're riding a range. They don't believe the amount of money that can be made in entertainment. Look, there are 200 million people in Nigeria. All I want to do is sell to 10% of them. You know how much a CD is? 200 naira, 300 naira. If I sell to 10 million people times 300, do you know how much an average Nigerian artist charges for a show now? 10 million naira. So if I do 2 shows a month, 20 million naira. People don't know. So when you buy those 10,000 naira tickets to go and watch any artist of 50,000 naira, or you buy a table. So there is money to be made in entertainment. There are people investing in it. You saw how many shows there were in Dirty December.
Sure.
If there was no money, corporations would not put, they would not impair. I don't want to name names, but So there's something in it for them. There's something in it for the artists. But you must hone your craft. You must perfect it. You must continue to be diligent, and you must continue to upgrade and do the right thing. So the investment is there. There's money in this country. And the population is there. We're willing to, if I hear good music, I will buy.
Yeah. So if an artist came to you now, sticking with that, if an artist came to you now and said, I want you to invest in me or sign me to a deal, what exactly would you be looking for? Would you be willing to?
Well, I will tell you that now I'm the wiser. As at then, I was doing it because of the passion, wanting to uplift you. I still want to, but my responsibilities outweigh. I have kids I have to put through college. I have a wife that I have to maintain and take care of. I want to live a good life. I'm getting older. I don't have that energy that I had 20, 15 years ago to run after and behind an artist. And you forget that artists are also they're like babies, they're like children. You have to monitor them, you have to guide them. You can't be seen here, this is where you must go. You can't smoke this, you can't drink this, you can't wear this, you can't. I don't have the energy for that anymore. It's not part of my challenge anymore. I feel I have done enough to hand over to the next generation and let them. But I still maintain that there's so much to this industry that we've not even tapped into yet.
We're going to go into the fun random questions. Are you ready? Okay, the first question is, the one artist that you'd like to meet at the Grammys, but you haven't had a chance to. It could be an artist or actually a music executive.
To be honest with you, and I said it with a lot of, I met just about everybody I wanted to meet, from Muhammad Ali to late Nelson Mandela to Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Akon. Missy Elliott, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Life has been good to me. I've met presidents, I've met governors, I've interviewed.
If you don't have one, that's fine.
This new generation, I don't know, they rub me a different way.
How so?
The craft is not as polished as, I can't compare my meeting a Prince or Michael Jackson with meeting Quavos. What's that name? I can't.
Migos.
Yeah?
Migos.
You see, I can't even. I'm not putting them down.
No,
or a Travis Scott, or I know they are at the top of their game, whatever, or a Drake. Maybe a Drake, I would like to meet Drake, but it wouldn't be the same for me. I hold people like, Marvin Gaye, those in high regards than I do this new generation. I'm sorry, that's the way I feel.
I think
so if I get to meet them, fine, but I wouldn't go all out like I would meet an Anita Baker or Sade,
I think there's definitely a generational divide there, so. Well, that's okay. The second question is, what was the first thing that you bought when you earned 1 million naira?
To be honest with you, my first 1 million naira check, I gave most of it away.
Wow. To who?
I gave some to my neighbors. And look, I lived in Ebutemeta at that time. I was living in a 1-bedroom. And these were people that in the morning, I would carry my plate to go and buy bread and they were going. And they would say, Uncle T, be working. I said, no, let's go together. Or in the afternoon, when Kenya, we want to eat amala. They say, sorry, amala. They will go. So in my now making it, as a matter of fact, at that time, I don't think that money really, I didn't realize that, wow, I have 1 million naira, to be sincere. It's now when I think of it, because there was one person, I actually gave 100,000 out of that first 1 million. I gave somebody that the parent actually came back and said, why did you give? Shekosi was there. I said, no, that's what my spirit
led you to.
And the father thanked me and said, okay, thank you. So I gave most of it. Most of not all.
What was the second million?
I'm all of it.
Okay. All right. Third question is, what are 3 character traits that you believe are important for an artist to have?
Number 1 is passion. Really, you must believe, you must go after what you want, you must know that you're the best songwriter, you're the best performer, you must be convinced. You don't need a record label to tell you that. It must be in you. You must go at it with everything. You must have passion. And it applies to anything in life. You must have that drive that I am good at this thing. Say, I just need that window, that somebody to open that door a bit for me, crack it, I'll get my leg in. You must have that drive and that passion that Anikini, he said, I will succeed. Say, whether I'm given an opportunity, but I know I'll be given an opportunity. You must have that drive, you must have that passion. Very important, humility. The good book says, those who exalt themselves be humble, those who humble themselves. No matter how big a star you become eventually, sit somewhere, let them say, no, that's not your seat. Please come and sit on this high table. Don't go and sit at the high table. They will not say, no, Michael Jackson, this is where you're supposed to sit. Remain humble. No matter how rich you get, no matter how popular you get, there's nothing you've achieved or you will achieve that somebody hasn't achieved before. So remain humble. And lastly, be giving. Give back. There's a reason God placed you on that pedestal. God gave you that talent. God gave you that drive. God sent people to come and help you open doors. God opened doors for you. God gave you that hit song, gave you that record label, gave you that amount of income. Keep. And I'm not saying those ones that go on social media and say, first 10 people, I'll give 10K. No. Find a way to give that you impact lives, that somebody somewhere will tell your story 10 years from now. He was responsible for changing. Give quietly. That will appease your own spirit, that you will know that you will sleep well at night.
Yeah.
So it's not just, I'm not saying you shouldn't live well, but there's a type of giving that your soul will be at ease, that even when you no longer have that kind of income, people will still, you understand?
Final question, your favorite song and favorite artist of 2019?
Can I say 2?
Yes, you can.
1, Old Town Road, Lil Nas X. It speaks to me. I'm going to take my horse, just ride down.
You can't no more.
Till I can't no more. It speaks to life. I mean, I'm going to go out there, do everything I need to do, and do it to the best of my ability and see what happens. And for 2019, my best song, Timaya, I Can't Kill Myself. Allow me to flex. My motto, no matter how bad the day I'm having, hey, I will eat the best food, I will dress well. My father used to say, on your worst day, wear your best clothes, go out.
Feel better.
Nobody wants to help somebody that looks tattered, so put on your best clothes, smile. Somebody will say, Diwan, Jack can run lunch for him. So I will flex. I can't kill myself. Tomorrow is another day. 2 days you can't do anything about. Yesterday and tomorrow. So why worry? Live today. Be the best. Do the best. Help your fellow man. Till nobody one slice of bread. Cut it into to give somebody. Because that person, you don't know whether that person ate last night. So when you are complaining, somebody didn't eat last night. When you're saying, this shoe, it's gonna come. Somebody doesn't even have feet.
Thank you so much, Otunba Dayo Adeneye, for your time.
Thank you for having me.